Folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis. So today, let's talk about organic foods and GMOs. I'm not going to talk about them specifically, but from the perspective of prepping. So, should your foods that you're prepping be organic? Should you try to do that? And of course, there's an increased cost to organic and non-GMO foods. So let's talk about that a little bit. Before I get started, I want to mention another YouTube channel. It is a personal friend that is trying to get a YouTube channel started, and the content that she's putting out or is going to be putting out, I think that a lot of you would like, and some of you, super high speed, ultra tactical guys may not be as much interested in that, but maybe you have a wife or a girlfriend that would be interested. And so anyway, she makes products, natural products, herbal products like, elderberry syrup, which I've talked about before on this channel, creams for your face and your skin and different things like that, all natural, really good, healthy kind of stuff. And so she has a YouTube channel where she talks about those, and she talks about recipes, and she talks about herbs and how to live a healthy lifestyle and stuff like that. And she's just getting started, so it's all brand new, and there's not a lot of content yet, but she is going to be putting a lot out there. And I'd like for some of you to go over and check her out and maybe subscribe. I've watched some of her stuff, and it's really good. She's got good quality stuff. And her channel is called See My Heart. And I will put a link down in the description that goes to her channel so that you can get over there and subscribe and watch some of her videos, because she's brand new, but I see potential there. I see potential for some good content. I think a lot of you would like it. And she's very much a like-minded person. She thinks she would fit in with all of us. So go over there and check her out. So let's get back to the organic and the non-GMO stuff. So, excuse me, still dealing with this cough. I need to be eating better stuff myself, huh? Taking some of my own medicine. There's always the big push. I've talked about it, and many other YouTubers that talk about prepping talk about it. All the things that you need to be, that you need to be prepping, that you need to be, buying in bulk and all this kind of stuff to get your food preps going. And the problem is most of those things aren't typically organic that people would buy, the real cheap stuff, the big bags of rice, the big bags of beans, the big bags of corn, and all that kind of stuff. Usually, they are not organic. And if you want to buy organic, you can, but you're going to pay a lot more money for it. And if you want non-GMO, you're going to pay more money for it. So the dilemma is, should you do it? I mean, unless you've just got enough money that it doesn't matter. Most of us have a limited budget on what we can spend. And your money, if you look at it and you're like, well, I've got this money set aside and I can buy 5 big bags of rice this month, or I can buy 2 small bags of organic rice. And that's kind of how it works out. Or I can buy, 5 50-pound bags of corn, or I can buy 1 10-pound bag of corn for the same price, and it's organic, non-GMO. That may be extreme in some ways, but probably not too far off. So it is something to think about. You have a limited amount of money. You're trying to buy the most food possible to store up. And then you have this dilemma of, is it really necessary to get organic? Should I be getting organic and non-GMO, or is just having the food more important? And my initial gut reaction is just having the food is more important. But the longer I sit and think about that, I believe that there has been an effort over the decades to purposely produce unhealthy food and the part of the reason is so that they can produce more of it, make more money. But also, I think there's an underlying other thing, that it's to make us unhealthy. If you just look at all the diseases that are out there today, these prominent diseases, things like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, ADHD, autism, many of the ones that have become very commonplace have only become very commonplace in the last half century to century. Before then, those things were almost unheard of, and people didn't have these chemicals. Is there a direct correlation between those two? I don't know, but it makes you think, that all of a sudden, if the population starts eating food that's full of chemicals and now being genetically modified, and guess what? All these diseases now start happening on a pretty regular basis. They become very common. You can say, yeah, but people are living longer. They are, but what is their life, the quality of life that they have? So I think that it's something to think about when it comes to the organic and the non-GMO. Sure, you want to have as much food as you possibly can built up for whatever happens, whatever you may face. But on the other hand, you want to have good, healthy, clean food too. So I'm not really kind of tell you either way, because I get it, it's a dilemma. And like I said, my gut reaction is just to buy as much as you possibly can. And I would guess to say that most of you are going to be in that. You're going to just say, listen, I'm just going to take my chances. I'm going to buy as much as possible. But organic stuff is coming down in price. It's getting cheaper and cheaper to buy. So I think if you're able to find a good deal on it, if you're able to afford it, I would try to get as much as you can. Because here's the thing, we've talked about this before. If you're in a SHTF, especially long term, you want to have your personal health as best as you possibly can. And continually eating things that may not be that healthy for you is not really a good idea. And it's not just about, you could use the same argument, not just with, whether it's organic or non-GMO, but just foods that just aren't healthy for you, processed junk. This isn't a new idea that food is your medicine. It's the Hippocratic Oath that we have, as a people, have known about for thousands of years. That, in fact, it's even in the Bible, that the food is there for us. It's there to nourish us. It's there to nourish. It's there to heal us. And so, we're so accustomed to taking medication. If something's wrong, if we have an illness or some kind of disease or problem, we go to the doctor and we take medication. Well, what happens when that's not there? So we have to take care of it ourselves. Well, one of the best things is the preventative medicine. And preventative medicine is really how you eat, your lifestyle. That's the best preventative medicine. And so, if you're going through an SHTF, you want to do everything you can to keep your body, your health, as good and as strong as you can make it. And I believe that one of those, a big, big one of those, is the food that you put in your body. And so, do I buy things, food preps that aren't GMO and stuff? Absolutely I do. But I'm very conscious of the fact that we need to be putting healthy food in our body. And not stuff that's processed, highly processed, not stuff that's full of chemicals and genetically modified. All of this, the chemicals and genetically modified is still so new. There hasn't been generations of research and seeing what it does to us over long periods of time. And I'm not talking a few years, I'm talking decades. So we still don't fully know the ending repercussions of eating the type of food that we do now, because it's still so new for us. 100 years or less, maybe around a century, have we started eating things that were really processed and full of chemicals. Before that, we never ate that kind of stuff as a people because it just didn't exist. And so from a preparedness standpoint, I would try as best as you can to not be storing up a lot of junk. Maybe like small emergency batches, stuff for like 2 weeks worth of, emergency food. But for stuff that you're putting back long term, or even your working pantry, try to make sure that you're eating healthy, and do that now, not just when the poo-poo hits the fan. One of the best ways to put food back that's healthy and that's chemical free is just to grow it yourself. Produce the food yourself, can it, preserve it, and put it back. You may not be able to produce everything. Even if you're able to produce a lot of food, it may not be all the foods that you need. You may not be able to produce wheat or corn or certain other crops. I get that. But if you can reduce the amount of food you have to buy because you're growing it, then maybe you can take that money that you would buy those cans, jars of tomatoes or jars of green beans or whatever it is that you grew yourself. Maybe you should take that money and put it towards, buying better quality, other food. And it's a hard one because I don't have a lot of money. When I go there and I see, bags of feed corn for $7-8 a bag, and I know that stuff is probably filled full of chemicals and genetically modified. It's the worst quality corn there is. But it is a food source that if times got really bad, we could eat that. It's tough, I'll admit it. But it's something we need to be thinking about, because there's so much junk out in our food system today that I fully believe, and I believe there's a lot of evidence showing this, that it's a big part of why we have so many medical problems as a society. And the only reason that we're living longer as a people, because we're artificially living longer. They're filling us so full of medications to cause us to live longer. But the quality of life isn't really that great for a lot of people. With all the health problems that we face as a society. And a lot of that is because of how we eat, all the junk that's in our food, and just the stuff that's not even food that we actually eat. It's food products, but it's not food. So, make that something that you think about when purchasing your food preps. Something to, kind of research it. And like I said, there are companies more and more that are producing much cheaper, not cheap in quality, but cheap in price, organic foods, where you can buy bulk, pinto beans that are organic, or rice or things like that. I've seen some options out there where it is more money, but it's not a lot more money. And, it's one of those things, I think it's probably worth it to just go ahead and get it. So anyways, remember to go check out my friend's YouTube channel. The link will be in the bottom in the description. And kind of think about all the junk that they put in our food, and is that what you want to be eating for the rest of your life in your zombie bunker. All right, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.